Father's Day was a couple of days ago. The gifts and the messages and the cards have been sent out to the dads. The phone calls have been made. The family gatherings have come and gone. And yet I find myself still thinking about it. Not the holiday itself, but what a father's love means to me in this season of my life because my dad's no longer with us. And maybe you've been thinking about it too. Maybe Father's Day brought back a memory that made you smile. Maybe it reminded you of someone you miss. Maybe it stirred up some emotions you weren't expecting. Or it could be that it left you reflecting on a relationship that was complicated, incomplete, or still healing. Today, I want to explore a simple question. What does it feel like to be safe in a father's love? And how can that feeling shape the way we understand love, belonging, and even our relationship with God? So stay with me.
Are you eating well, moving your body, maybe even reading labels and still thinking, I'm doing all the healthy things, so why do I still feel off? If that's you, you're in the right place. Welcome to Start Living Sustainable, the podcast where your health finally gets the foundation the other pillars need to work. Because what you're exposed to in your home and on your body is quietly raising your toxic load and forcing your food and fitness to work harder than they should. Hi, I'm Cynthia, a non-toxic lifestyle strategist who learned the cost of exposure the long way, years before most women even know to look. Now you can start where I wish I could have, so your body can respond to the work you're already doing, not fight against it. Because when your foundation is supported, your sleep, hormones, clarity, and even your workouts finally catch up with your intentions without turning your life into a project. If you're ready, let's begin.
Every Father's Day, my mind seems to drift back to the same memory. I just remember the television was glowing softly in the corner of the room. The familiar Perry Mason theme song filled the house. My brothers, my sister, and I, we would gather around my dad for another mystery. And before the show even started, he'd make the same announcement. Whoever figures out who did it first gets a quarter. Now, I know I'm telling my age, but back then, a quarter felt like a pretty big deal. And suddenly, we were all detectives, watching every detail, listening closely and carefully, trying to solve the mystery before Perry Mason did. But when I think about those weekends now, I don't remember most of the episodes. I don't remember who committed the crime. And honestly, I don't even remember how many quarters I won or if I won any quarters at all for that matter. What I remember is finding a place right next to my dad. I remember scooting a little closer. I remember leaning against him, wanting to be as close to him as I possibly could. And more than anything, I remember how I felt. I felt safe, not because I thought something bad was going to happen. I felt safe because I was with someone I trusted, someone whose presence allowed me to relax, someone who, for those moments in my life, made the world feel a little smaller and a little easier for me to navigate. Have you ever noticed how quickly a memory can take you back? A song, it could be a smell, even a photograph. And suddenly you're standing in a moment you haven't thought about for years. Maybe that's happened to you this week. When you think about your father, what comes to mind? What do you remember feeling? Perhaps it's a memory that surfaces immediately, or there was a conversation that you had that you'll never forget. It could be just a moment, a feeling, or a particular time and place in your life. And with it comes gratitude that you had that experience. Or could it be you're experiencing a sense of loss or questions that come up, or maybe a mixture of all of these feelings? The truth is, Father's Day doesn't feel the same for everyone. For some women, it's a celebration. For others, it's a reminder of what was missing. And for many, it's a little bit of both. The longer I live, the more I realize that no two people experience Father's Day the same, right? But I do think many of us are searching for some of the same things. We want to know we're loved. We want to know we're supported. And we definitely want to know that we don't have to carry everything by ourselves. And maybe you've experienced that through your father. Or maybe you've experienced it through a grandfather, an uncle, a brother, a husband, or another man who stepped into your life at exactly the right time. Maybe it was someone who offered you wisdom when you needed direction, who encouraged you when you doubted yourself. Could it have been someone who showed up for you when life got heavy? That one person whose steady presence reminded you that you didn't have to face everything alone. And if you've experienced that, you know how meaningful those moments can be because they remind us that having that support, getting a word of encouragement, and the presence of someone who loves you and you love them, that matters. But here's something I've come to understand over the years. As grateful as I am for the people who have reflected those qualities in my life, no person can provide them perfectly. Not a father, not a husband, not a brother, not a friend. People can reflect those qualities, but they were never meant to be the source of them. The older I've gotten, the more I've come to appreciate what I was actually experiencing as a little girl sitting beside my dad. It wasn't just physical safety, it was the freedom to rest, the freedom to know that those moments, someone else was carrying the responsibility. He was watching over me. And over the years, I've come to recognize that feeling again. Not in my dad's living room, not during a Perry Mason rerun, but in my relationship with my Heavenly Father. Now, I realize not everyone listening has the same faith journey, and perhaps your experience with your earthly father has made it even difficult for you to think about God as a father. I understand that. But what I've discovered is that the safety I experienced as a child was only a glimpse of what I've come to know more deeply as an adult. A peace that isn't dependent on circumstances. It's a confidence I have that I'm not walking through life alone. And it's a great reminder that I am seen, I'm known, I'm loved and cared for, even when life feels uncertain. And I invite you in today's conversation not to compare your story to mine and not to wish things had been different, but simply to consider the possibility that whatever may have been missing, whatever may still be healing in your life, there is a Heavenly Father whose love is not limited by human imperfections. A Father who sees you, who knows you, who understands every part of your story, and who's able to provide an abundance of what may have been lacking in ways that no human being can. As I think about those weekends with my dad, what stays with me all these years later is not simply a memory. It's a reminder of how deeply we all long for a place where we can rest, a place where we can exhale stress, a place where we know we're loved. It's also one of the reasons I'm so passionate about helping women create healthier homes, because our homes influence how we feel. They influence how we sleep, how we recover, and how we show up for the people we love. Our homes should be a place that supports us, a place that helps us breathe a little easier, rest a little deeper, and create an environment where you and the people that you love can flourish. If you've ever wondered whether your home is truly supporting your health and well-being, I'd love to help you. My Healthy Home Reset Audit, it's designed to help you identify simple opportunities to create a healthier, more supportive environment. One room, one step, one change at a time. You'll find the link in the show notes down below to book a session with me. And before we go today, I'd love to hear from you. What comes to your mind when you think about your father? What do you remember feeling this past Father's Day weekend? I'd love it if you can send me a message, reply to this episode, or connect with me on social media. I genuinely love to hear your story. Thank you for sharing this time with me today here at Start Living Sustainable. And until next time, live well, dwell well, and make room for your health, your peace, and your purpose.